change, some stay the same. Some act out of character to get a name. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, but living out of your means will leave you homeless. With nowhere to go, no leg to stand on. But if I talk real, I'm the one wrong. Nowadays, people love to shift blame, but owning up to your faults is how I was raised. You had to honor what you said, that were the old ways, how soon we forget. Back when your word was your bond, you dealt with more real and less with the frauds. Everybody held their own self accountable. You could lie, keep it real, that was left to you. Now people making deals with their fingers crossed. Things was different back then, that ain't the way it was. Yeah, just spitting that realness, hoping y'all can feel it. I am who I am, I can only be me. You can do you, I'ma do me. I'm not your average or your typical. I can only be me, the original. Some people come, some people go. Some that was friends turn into foes. That's just the way life goes. Learn to deal with it and then move on. Everybody doing things in their own way. How you choose to work it out, who am I to say? But making hasty decisions is pure nonsense. Take a step back, think with real logic. We all go through a lot of different problems, and there's plenty different ways we can solve them. Never followed the leader, not the persuasive type. I always go with my heart, I know wrong from right. So be straightforward and keep it real with me. And in return I do the same, that's the way to be. I never been the type of monkey see or monkey do. I never follow nothing, do what I want to. On my own time, at my own pace. Already told y'all, life is not a race. This is for my son and 2 daughters. This real spill that I'm here reporting. So stay true to yourself, it'll keep you stress free. How I know, cause experience has taught me. It's really hard to find people that are genuine, but showing love will always be my sentiments. Yeah, I can't do nothing but keep bringing that realness to y'all. That's all I know how to do. Spitting all of this from the heart, realness and true life. I am who I am, I can only be me. You can do you, I'ma do me. I'm not your average or your typical. I can only be me, the original. Yeah, K4Y back at it. Y'all already know I'm about worldwide unity and collaboration. But first and foremost, the first law of nature is self-preservation. How can we help somebody else if we ain't helping ourselves first? We gotta be balanced before we can reach out to one another. Peace and love to my brothers and sisters, y'all. I'm out.
Peace, peace, peace to the family that'll be watching this live and rewatching the live upstream. This is Bridging the Gap TV, and this is Knowledge for Ignorance, aka K4I, along with
Your hostess, Cammy.
Yep, and we're coming here live to you guys, bringing you our 5th episode. Just want to start out by saying we apologize for not going live last weekend. I would say that was more so my fault. I think I bit off more than I can chew. Like I previously told you guys on the previous show prior to last week, that we would be doing a basketball camp prior to the start of the 2018-2019 high school basketball season here in Michigan. I help coach and train along with my best friend Wendell Johnson, and also one of our other great friends and teammates growing up, Eric Braddock, just moved back to the area. So I was joined with those 2 fellas, and we did a basketball camp last weekend. For some of you that follow our channel, I uploaded some highlights from both days of the camp, and it went really pretty good, really well. But the young guys kind of wore me out, so we kind of held up on doing the show last week. See Cammy laughing at me, and shout out to her because she actually did a lot of the videoing and taking the pictures the first day of the camp and stuff for us like that. So yeah, I just want to start out by saying that was the reason why we didn't do a show last week, but at the same time, it still was a part of the show because that was giving back, you know what I'm saying, to the youth and helping them get ready for the upcoming basketball season. So far, that was me and my friends' fifth camp. Like I said, it was something he thought about doing maybe about 2.5 years ago. I jumped on board with it. We both grew up playing ball, and he's a trainer, and he's actually studying to be a certified trainer. So yeah, that's something that we do here in the local area. And yeah, so like I said, thanks for those who viewed that, and for those who will view it in the upcoming days and months or whatnot. So we're gonna just jump into this week's show, and I'll be starting off this week, and just to give you an overview, the topics we'll be going over, I will be, of course, we'll both be elaborating and giving our perspective and research and whatnot on it, but I'm gonna start off with like the delivery package and pipe bomb attacks or scares that we've had, and what it kind of does to the community, saying local and worldwide, and maybe some of the reasons for it. And my second one will be dealing with race, with the racial division issues, and for lack of better words, white and black. So that'll be my two topics, and Cammy's topics will be dealing with GMOs and natural disasters. So yeah, we just want to give a quick overview. And did you want to say anything before we get going? All right, yeah, so cool. Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to start off with a first topic. We might not be on it too long. Was just dealing with delivery package scares and like pipe bomb scares and stuff, which they, over the years they put on the TV, and it's been broadcasted in the newspapers as well as on radios, more of a fear mongering, like a fear type of ploy, to keep everybody in an uproar and to kind of have everybody kind of startled, afraid, and pretty much just waiting for whatever the government says we should really be doing, and just follow suit and just do as to be told, like they really want us to be doing, which is really the furthest thing from the truth. So this past week, over the last week and a half or so, there have been a lot of pipe bomb attack scares around the nation of the United States, and primarily dealing with political parties. So I want to say Friday, which was a couple of days ago, they allegedly, I'm gonna use allegedly, apprehended the supposed person that was, or suspect that was doing these alleged attacks, and his name is Cesar Sayek Jr. And prior to him being allegedly apprehended for these supposed pipe bomb attacks on these political figures, the only other thing on his criminal record that has been publicized was he had been charged 16 years ago with a pipe bomb attack, and he just served some minimal probation time. So what I'm pretty much saying is I really don't know, from over the years, like looking into different um, terrorist acts or things of that nature. After so long, the unfolding of the real story that comes out that is different from the narrative that the media and the mainstream gives initially is far from what it is. And previously, a couple weeks back, we talked about kind of acts of terrorism and false flags and stuff like that. So, like I said, sometime we will be going over previous topics, but it's really not redundant because people still need to learn. It's still things getting did to the community worldwide daily. So this is kind of tying into like 2 weeks ago, but then again, it's not. Yeah. So this guy allegedly sent out 13 explosive pipe bomb explosive to at least 13 prominent Democratic political figures. Three of them being Vice President Joe Biden, ex First Lady Hillary Clinton, and ex President Barack Obama. Now, for me, it's like I said, going forward, like as more information come out, I'll be digging, trying to find research to find out what really happened, if this guy really did it, or was it 13, so on and so forth. But it's really like, how did this guy know where all of these prominent figures, live? And so on the news that they showed like this map, and ping like these, 13 different places. But my thing is like they didn't give a concrete specific location, which I don't feel they should, because people need their privacy. But my thing is like, why us as the general public should be going for the narrative of them saying he sent 13 pipe bombs, as well as us believing he knew exactly where these people stayed. You want to say something about it?
Like, how did they like find out that it was him?
Okay, good point. Okay, listen, I'm glad you said that. Okay, so it says misspelling from his online posts match mistakes found on the packages, according to an 11-page criminal complaint. I'm gonna read that again. I'm glad you just said what you said.
That's
This is coming from one of the articles I put up. Check it out. It says misspelling from his online post match mistakes found on the packages, according to an 11-page criminal complaint. Now, two things stand out. Go ahead.
Could misspell those things wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that they can misspell it wrong. Then two, my thing is like, how do they already have an 11-page complaint criminal account? Like they just caught
Did they
this
say
dude.
that it just happened?
Yeah, they just apprehended him Friday, but they already got an 11-page criminal thing on him. But they're saying that they're linking the misspelled words up to his online like Facebook account, because he was supposedly spewing a lot of political rhetoric against, like, the Democratic Party. He's like a Trump supporter, so they're saying they're trying to tie him to like Trump supporters, which, at least Trump did come out and stand against that. No matter what anybody political views is, I don't want nobody being tied to nothing that they're not a part of. So Trump, he did come out and say that he's, that they're not standing by that guy, and that guy is a nutcase. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm glad you asked that. But yeah, so two things that stand out as like, I'm saying that what they're saying happened is more of a false flag, and some could have happened, but I'm saying the media is putting out a false narrative with already this 11-page criminal complaint. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth, and as well as them with the misspelling of the words and stuff. So the reason I was using that as one of the topics is there's always like major things going on, not just locally or nationally, but worldwide, when certain political parties and different times of the year, or different years when it's time for an election. It's not the actual presidential election this year, but it is an election season, and it's always around this time of year. It's different laws, stuff like that, legislations being passed, where the media don't focus on that, so they put stuff out there like this, or put these narratives out to where we consume with that, and these deals are being did behind closed doors, and we're not even, alerted or up on it until after these bills and legislation have been passed. And it's like, yo, when was that passed? Like, say we might know about it in April of 2019. You'd be like, Dad, I didn't know about such and such. And then we'd go do some research. Oh, yeah, they was deliberating, and that law was passed this past September or October. During when these like different attacks, like these synagogue attacks or whatever like that go on. Also, a sidebar, it was another attack yesterday at a synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, the initial narrative going right now from yesterday and leading until early this afternoon is the suspected person who did these attacks. His name is Robert Bowers, 46 years old. Once again, Robert Bowers, 46 years old. And they're allegedly saying that he killed at least 11 people, wounding 4 police officers along with 2 other civilians. The initial report is Robert Bowers killed 11 civilians, wounding 2 police officers, also injuring 2 other civilians. Now, just with the story I just said about the Sayed, the Caesar Sayed guy, with them just apprehending him, right? And they already had the 11-page criminal thing.
Mhm.
This just happened, Cammy, yesterday.
So how did like
Check it
my
out.
question about this? Is
Okay,
like,
let me say what I'm going to say first, then you can say, hold. Don't forget what you're going to say. Okay, this thing that just happened yesterday with the 46-year-old Robert Bowers in Pennsylvania, with killing 11, wounding 4 cops, and allegedly wounding 2 more civilians. They already saying he's charged with 29 accounts, and my thing is like, y'all haven't even y'all did a thorough investigation. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm
what
not.
was like? How did they know it was him? Like, once again, like the same question I had about that. Like, what? Like, what
Oh, okay,
evidence did
now.
they have about that? Like, what
Okay.
was his objective?
Okay,
Like, why
now
did
with
he
the one
wanna do
yesterday with
that?
the Robert Bowers.
Yeah.
Okay, now they're saying that he was against the synagogue.
I
The
feel like
synagogue
that's
stuff that
like the
he was
story for
spewing.
everything.
Yeah, he was spewing anti-Semitic like comments and stuff, and that really, excuse me, kind of mean that he's kind of against like Jewish people of that nationality, right? So that's what they're saying. So my thing is, it's kind of tying. This story is kind of tying into what would be my second topic when I bring up about the black and white division. This is another thing to divide and conquer. So they're saying that this is an American 46-year-old white man that did these attacks on a Jewish faith and their people. You see what I'm saying? So that's going to send an uproar. I mean, they do these different false flags attacks and this divide and conquer type of stuff a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, this thing that happened yesterday really is tying into the delivery package scares and the pipe bomb scares thing. But this one was just yesterday. But like I said, they've already charged this guy with 29 counts. But my thing is, how are they coming up with that number? Because off top, the only thing I can see being charged with so far would be 17 things, would be the alleged 11 murders, the 4 police that's wounded, that give you 15, and then the 2 extra civilian, that's 17. So my thing is, what is the other 12 counts that they're,
Right.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I said, we'll give a recap briefing over the next couple of weeks once we dig more and more truth come out, and then like underground reporters and media come out that be speaking the truth, and then we'll like weigh that against these initial reports on that. And that was just dealing with the 46-year-old Robert Bowers, who's the suspected killer of the people at the synagogue yesterday in Pittsburgh. So tying something else in with the other guy, that the Caesar Sayed Jr. that was apprehended for the 13 pipe bomb attacks, just to show you how they do things over years, and they repeat things and just do scare tactics. When I was a little younger, in my early 20s, I was thrown off. You know what I'm saying? It was up in arms and was overly consumed with the media in early 2000, when we had these major anthrax scares, which is a powdery substance, and that was in 2001, and that was did by 2 guys. One of the guys' name was Stephen Hatfield, and he was a physician slash virologist, and an expert in bioweapons. The other person that allegedly did it with him, his name was Bruce Edwards Ivins. Once again, the second person who they said did these anthrax attacks in 2001 was Bruce Edwards Ivins, and he was an American microbiologist. And the reason they said that these guys really did these attacks was because they was working on a anthrax vaccine program. A lot of funds was being put into this program, and these guys wasn't um, coming up with solutions and stuff like that quick enough, as opposed to the amount of money that was being put into this program. So they started sabotaging, doing these different scare tactics. I guess to kind of, in a reverse psychology way, to make the higher ups want them to further, pursue, more information and and research into the vaccination and the different things dealing with the anthrax substance. And I guess they thought, well, what the narrative in initial reports was, they thought that that would help that continue forward, so that can buy them more time to do more research, to develop more quality things to go along, elements to go along with it, right? But what I'm saying is that was a false flag thing back then. Back then, that was sent to different higher ups, and different newspaper divisions around the country, as well as political figures. And I don't want to mistake the proper number, but the initial account for that was allegedly 3 people, I think, may have died from that back in 2001. So what I'm saying, this type of thing is just coming back around again, but it's always around the time when it's election time, or different bills or different legislations are up to be passed, and that just detour the average citizen from keeping their focus on those different things that might affect us worldwide.
Yeah.
So I don't want to overtalk. So I know, like for a few of them things you weren't even born or whatever, but I just want to throw them out there, and just what you just learned about that. What do you think about these reoccurring things, like through the mail system and through like delivery system, like as scare tactics, but they're saying that they're always true events away.
Well, like, cause you said like it happens like around the same time. Like it's always to like kind of distract some like the people from like what's like going on, or like
Yeah, like
vice
bigger
versa.
issues or something.
Yeah, trying to like distract. Okay, like
Okay, so
they might be putting that out there just for it to be like a distraction
yeah,
from
yeah, exactly, yeah. So what I'm saying is, say if let's say let's just say we're in the state of Michigan, right? And let's say, okay, something that's around the nation that's becoming vital. We need reconstruction on the highway system, right? So I'm just gonna give this example. So let's say right now, like the citizens of Michigan was in a big uproar, like our tax money was supposed to be going, say like over the next 5 years, from 2018 to 2023. Say like, this is hypothetical. Say like $30 million supposed to be going to the road construction, right? But then we find out that more of the higher ups in the legislation, like in the political parties, whether it's Democratic or Republican, they're getting higher wages, they're getting more bonuses, they're taking more trips, they're buying more materialistic things,
so
right?
like
They're using the funds for wrong things, right? But then when somebody, say on a lower level that works around them, finds out, and they might start speaking out or might leak it or expose it, that person probably gonna lose their job, or they might get blackballed. But then what happened? Some like a false flag event probably would happen around our state of Michigan, right? Because that's in line, because the citizens is in the uproar, like something need to be did. We need ASAP them get on the roads, and we need to be reimbursed, or something to be get did. So it'll be like some type of tragic event that they'll create to distract us and detour us from us really thinking. Because look, it'll all be about the higher ups will come out and be like, we know, this is allegedly happened. Although we're not doing this person was lying, but we don't have time to focus on that. We just had this tragic event happen, blah blah blah, and they'll keep on playing that on the TV, on social media, and on the
yeah, like
radio.
every time I'll hear somebody, like, for example, I don't remember like what it was that was happening at the time, but I remember seeing this thing. It was like, oh, like X died like the same day that like this was happening. Like, was it like
X
supposed to be
did,
like
John? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
see, you saying
like
you
they
don't
have like
remember.
bigger people like
Yeah.
like dying, or like having like all these scandals happen.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
scandals,
So it
like,
be so it's a lot of things that, like I said, it can be more than just one thing that's going on, but they will emphasize just one thing. They'll target and focus and center on one thing, and have everybody drawn into that, when that's the distraction. Look at my left hand, but I'm really doing the serious thing deliberately with my right hand, but
yeah.
I'm shaking my left hand and got you looking at that.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I ain't want to be long winded. I just want to tie those those three different time periods in dealing with bomb scares or the anthrax scares. But this shooting goes along with the false flags and like the previous shooting, like the shooting in South Carolina or the Batman shooting or at the Parkland that we previously talked about. Yeah. Yep. So we can jump into Cammie's first topic.
Okay, so my first topic is about GMOs, and hold on, let me pull up the definition. So a GMO is a genetically modified organism, and okay, hold on. A genetically modified organism, a GMO, is any organism whose genetic material has been altered using genetic engineering techniques. For example, like, oh, it says genetically engineered organism. And like a company that you brought up, and I don't know how to pronounce it. But like it's a company that like controls a lot of like the like stuff put in like foods and all that type of stuff, and it's called Monsanto's, and the and what it is like the Monsanto's company was an American agrochemical and agricultural biotechnology corporation that existed from 1901 until 2018 when it was acquired by Bayer. It was headquartered in that doesn't matter. But a lot of like scandals have happened like with Monsanto's and like coming out and like finding out because yesterday my dad brought up how they won like it was like 200, no, it was less than that, but it was like 100 something court cases like against farmers and stuff like
Yeah.
trying for them like to save their seeds and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
for Monsanto's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And,
actually have that right here. If you want me to read it for you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Monsanto's has sued farmers for 16 years, never lost the case. Since 1997, Monsanto's has filed 145 lawsuits, or on the average about 9 lawsuits every year for 16 straight years against farmers who have improperly reused their patented seeds. So once again, this company Monsanto's that Cammie just spoke about has a patent on seeds now that say just like your average farmer used to be able to have their own seeds that was passed down through generations and stuff. This company has cornered the market to where they put a patent on seeds to where you can't even use like your own seeds no more. You know what I'm saying? So it also says Monsanto's patents many of the seed varieties we develop. When farmers purchase a patented seed variety, they sign an agreement that they will not save and replant seeds reproduce from the seed they buy from Monsanto's. More than 325,000 farmers a year buy seeds under these agreements in the United States. More than 325,000 farmers. So you looking at 325,000 different families who over generations and generations can have passed down these seeds, right? But now this company has made it. Yeah, it's stopping it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what do you think about that?
That is that's sad. Like that's a hard to describe it. It's unfortunate that they have to like take that away from like the families so that like it causes them to like use their product basically.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just it's like they had their own thing, they growing their own crops, and then it's like they do this. So it's another thing that Monsanto's do too. Um, a lot of seeds they have is killing a lot of natural things, saying around, and it's kind of like messing up the actual soil, like overall. And then some too, I don't know if you wrote it down, but some that stood out when you looked up some research.
Oh yeah, it said yeah, I have it right here. Like
Okay,
I found like a news article, and it says Monsanto's top weed killer now found in pet
Peace,
foods.
Nikki. What's good, sis?
Found in pet foods as well as cereal. So that's saying that they're like weed killer is like, which is like deadly. Yeah, isn't that? Is
Yeah,
it
yeah, it's
deadly?
real
Yeah.
deadly. Yeah.
And it's found in like pet foods as well as cereal. I feel like they're like slowly trying to kill us. They probably put it in there small amounts, but they do it.
Right,
So
right,
yeah.
right.
And like this is kind of off topic, but it's like talking about like the stuff that they put in foods. And I brought up like a few weeks back like when we were talking about like the Mandela effect and like the Simpsons and stuff. And the Simpsons like predicted something about like how they put like horse meat in like school lunches and stuff like that. And yeah, that was basically like another thing that's like gross put in like stuff that like I thought about. It's like found in there.
And that was on The Simpsons. What was that
Yeah.
again? What was that?
It was like it was talking about like horse meat or something like
Oh,
that's
horse
found in
meat.
like
Oh, okay.
school food and like
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
different type of
Yeah, so they can
like
stretch
Wendy's
the
and stuff.
actual meat that they're using in these
Yeah.
factories and stuff. Yeah. So to still touch on your topic with this Monsanto's, okay, this is one of the reasons why Monsanto's put a patent on the seeds, and then it's illegal for the farmers once they purchase it to use them. So this is what it is. Why do farmers clean seeds? It says farmers who save and clean their own seeds do it for a variety of reasons. Many growers want to develop and maintain their own lines or want to work with heirloom varieties that aren't commercially available. So once again, that's what we were saying. So just imagine, say our grandparents, our great grandparents, right, had all these seeds for all these different generations, right, and then here in ours, we get approached by Monsanto's. They like, look, y'all got to quit using your Reed family seeds. Listen, you can't use those those are outlawed. You got to buy from us, but listen, once you buy them, you got to sign this agreement saying once you buy them that you're not even going to reuse them. You see what I'm saying? You got to buy them every year. So that's the reason why they did the patent, and that's the reason why they don't want farmers, entrepreneur farmers reusing or cleaning seeds, which is real sad.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else on your GMO?
Not really.
Well, I was gonna say, I ain't gonna lie. I bought a GMO this morning when I went and did a little grocery shopping. I bought some genetically modified oranges. They seedless. Yeah, like I know they really ain't good for us, but so like I said, we try to be transparent over here. But yep, I bought some this morning because that's kind of all they had. But I was kind of laughing when I was getting them. But yeah, I bought some little seedless tangerines this morning. But along with Monsanto's with the seeds, the overall genetically modified organism that causes health ailments. And it's because a lot of things that the genetically modified organisms do is help give the food a longer shelf life. Say stuff should. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, like enhance the taste, flavor. Yeah. So even though initially, we think that's good.
It's basically like junk food. It's like it tastes good, but it's not good for you.
There you go, right there.
Like a good analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I really have to talk about it. But I did find a lot about Monsanto, so that I know that it's not a great company.
Not at all.
No.
I mean, they definitely detrimental to humanity, like worldwide. I'm gonna just say that. All right, yep. So I'm gonna jump into my segment, which I think we'll probably spend a lot of time on. I would think because this has been in the talks in the social media world, and a lot of us that's in the conscious community. This has been on a lot of different platforms. The thing about this division with this black and white, and I don't know, it be irritating me. So I kind of want to bring it up because we really can speak from both sides, dealing with, for lack of better terms, black and white. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not black and white. But what I'm saying is, I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it like if have nobody heard it. We're in a blended interracial family. You see what I'm saying? So like your mom is white, I'm black, for lack of better words. So and you're mixed, right? Okay. Your brother, he's black. He's from a previous relationship, and then the oldest in the family, your daughter, I mean your sister. I say
Oh
your daughter.
God, no.
Your sister, which is my stepdaughter, she's the oldest.
She's not even like old enough to be my mom.
Right.
Like,
And she's from a previous relationship with your mom, and she's fully,
White.
you know what I'm saying, white or European, right? So we're in a interracial blended family. So all this negative talk either way or another from, for lack of a better word, black people or white people, I don't really rock with it. I never have, even, you know, growing up, even as a kid, I never looked at things like that. And I'm gonna say this too, for the record, on behalf of me. I know a lot of people who are supposedly, you know, non-racist and stuff say the thing like, I don't see color. I don't say that. My thing is, I know that I'm not racist. I'm a humanitarian. I'm worldwide. You know what I'm saying? I love my people first and foremost, but I love everybody. So what I'm saying is, the people that say that, you saying it wrong. You probably need to rethink it and come up with a different saying. So my thing is, I love everybody. We are all one, all the colors in the rainbow, and I see color. But the color I see that these elites are putting on this, that they're saying is black and white, isn't that. You know what I'm saying? I'm brown, you know what I'm saying? And European people aren't
like
white.
peach.
Yeah, listen, they're more peach. So while we on that, we talked about this yesterday. Listen, because like I said, bridging the gap. You know what I'm saying? This go back to why we start this, so you can hear point of views from adults as well as kids, you know, children or teens, right? And like I said, children speak the truth. So when we was coming up with our topics yesterday, Cammie brought up something she said when she was like, she's 12, but how old was you when you said it?
I was like 4.
Okay, check it out. I'm gonna let her say it, but she was like 4 years old. So to show you like what they tell us verbally, that we black and white as far as European and African Americans, for lack of better terms. But what do we visually see? So what did you say when you was 4 years old?
When I was younger, I used to like call my dad like Brown, and I like refer to him as Brown. And then like my mom would always make this joke. She'd be like, "Oh, like I'm so like light, I'm pink," and so I'd always call her like Pink because like that's what she like called herself. Like and like yeah, that's always what I called them. And I called myself like what did I call myself? I was like light brown or something
Right,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So check this out, family. This is coming from an honest perspective from a 4-year-old child that's visually viewing humans in real time and giving her true perspective on what our actual color or skin tones are based off her being taught what a color is. Now, so what I'm saying is, if we were literally black and white, she would have been calling us that. But with her knowing from what she's taught what the different colors is, she like, you know, you brown, mommy pink, and I'm light brown or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I said, like children know. Children know the truth. So that's why I'm saying, like I said, this is going back on stuff we went over previously. The brainwashing and the predictive programming. That's why they start on our babies early, because they know that children, you know what I'm saying, see things. Like once they're able to start communicating, they're gonna say the truth. They don't know how to sugarcoat nothing. Children don't know how to sugarcoat nothing. So I just thought that when she brought that memory up, I was like, wow, that'd be good to bring up as far as this topic. Like these elites brainwash us to call ourselves black and white, but you as a 4-year-old child, like, dad, you brown, mommy pink, I'm light brown. You know, a mixture of both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the second topic of mine was gonna be dealing with the racial division that they try to do in these different words, but I mainly want to talk about two different um, ladies in general. One being an adult white lady, and then as recently as this past week, 16-year-old black teenage young lady, which her name is Treasure. I never could find her last name. I don't know if they said on the show or not, but 16-year-old black young lady named Treasure, who feels she's a white lady trapped in a black person body. She degrades her black race or whatnot. So I want to talk about that. And like I said, I thought these would be good topics because, like I say, we're in an interracial blended family, and Cammy is a bit of both. So I would really like to get her perspective. But before we talk about the 16-year-old, I want to talk about the previously one that had everybody in the uproar, like as far as 3 years ago, which was a white lady by the name of Rachel Dolezal. Now, formerly Rachel Dolezal, because after all of this media uproar came out about her lying about who she was, she changed her name to I might be pronouncing it wrong, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but she changed it to Nkechi Diallo. Nkechi or Nkeche Diallo. It's spelled Nkechi, and last name is Diallo. So she changed her name. And this lady, this was a European white lady, but this is why the story was big. This lady had been posing as a black lady. She was actually the president of the Spokane, Washington chapter of the NAACP. Once again, this European white lady, Rachel Dolezal, was the president of the Spokane, Washington chapter of the NAACP, which is a national African American uh, program or a group, you know what I'm saying, that fight for injustice and
they
stuff.
never saw her before.
Well,
Like,
listen, what I'm saying, they was seeing her, but she was posed like, okay, listen, she was telling stuff, so she pretty much was your complexion. And she was getting these different hairstyles, and she was kind of getting more,
she get
like black people's, for lack of a better word, black people's hairstyles and stuff like that. Like she was using her hair, but yeah, she was getting different
like
weaves.
that's how she was just light
Yeah, different braids, stuff like that. So what happened? The story broke when her parents came out and to the public exposure, like that was their daughter, and she was an imposter, and she was living a lie. So she was the actual president of the NAACP chapter of Spokane, Washington, from February 7th of 2014 until she resigned on June 15th of 2015.
That's like almost 2 years.
So she was getting it in, you know what I'm saying? So once they exposed her, she started. So she was the first one that came out. So the black girl, the treasure, the 16-year-old black girl treasure, that's saying she's a white lady in a black teenage girl's body. The white lady was saying that she was a black lady trapped in a white lady's body.
Like they just want to be the opposite of what they are.
Yeah.
But, okay, so what I noticed from
ahead.
like watching the episode, was that she was like she tried to talk
about the
like
treasure girl?
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
that she was trying to talk really proper and stuff, that she was trying to and she would make fun of black people stuff, because she said, okay, so they took her to Beverly Hills and she saw white people everywhere, she just go up to white people, compliment them, or if she saw a black person, she'd be disgusted, or kind of back up some, or walk the other way. And she went by into Hollywood or something where there was more black people at, and she was like, oh, it stinks, everybody here is fat, blah blah blah. And she'd actually brought up quote unquote statistics that about black people that she found, or everybody knows about, I guess.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how all black people are fat or something, and they mostly have diabetes. And then Dr. Phil was like, I have diabetes, and she was like, oh really? I feel so bad for you and stuff. Normally that's a black person thing or something like that.
That's what. So she's doing these fake stereotypes.
Yeah, and then her parents, not her parents, but her mom and her brother are scared of her someday saying something to the wrong person. She literally said something about a black person in front of them, and then he flipped off her the camera and stuff, and
Wow.
yeah, and then her mom was I'm scared about her joining what's a better thing to call it. I don't know, just like an anti like black person group, like I want to call it like.
That's what her mom was saying.
Yeah, and then she was like, well, all they'd have to do was like give me like an invite or something like that, and she'd join. I was
Wow.
like, yeah.
So my thing with that being my topic, like I said, with you being of both races, what's your perspective like? Because we always raised you and taught you to be yourself, right, and be comfortable in your skin and who you are, and treat all people from all walks of life with respect. So with these different perspectives from a grown white lady who was one, and okay, first of all, let me say this. I think these are two separate discussion within the thing dealing with this division thing. First of all, I guess I want to separate the different topic with. So let's just deal with the lady Rachel Dolezal first
She
because
does look like she's black.
Rachel Dolezal first. See, look, Cammy's looking up the Rachel Dolezal. She like, yeah, she
I want to
does
hear
look.
her talking.
She do look black. So check it out. So let's just deal with that first because it's different than the black teenager. Okay. So like I said, we raise you to be comfortable in your skin, right? Be who you are. Don't try to be nobody else. So her it's different because she's saying she's a black lady in a white person's body. So she was impersonating. She was impersonating that. You know, she got a job, right? So what do you feel about that? Like I guess what I'm asking, are you? How do you feel about yourself? Are you comfortable where you do you feel awkward because you're two races or how? I mean, how do you honestly feel? Versus what you're hearing about this person resenting, being, because she was born white, she wanted to be black, like how do you feel? And then versus, because like I said, it's two different things, but then the same with both of them, like they want to be a different. But you're both.
Yeah. So like being mixed, like it doesn't really bother me. Like I feel like um like I feel comfortable like around like all races, to be honest.
Right.
Like because like I've heard it from like other people's perspectives. Like most of the time when like I've heard it like from my friends, like if they're black they'll like mostly like view me as like more black, or like if I'm around like my white friends they'll like sometimes like they're not like they don't really like pull me as like I mean view me as like fully black. Like they'll see me as like either like mixed or white. But I find a lot more like white people think I'm Hispanic. So like yeah,
Oh,
like
for
a
real?
lot of white
Oh,
people. Yeah,
okay.
like a lot of black people do too.
See,
Like
I
people
never
just
knew
think
that.
I'm a lot of
Wow,
people.
I never knew that.
No,
Okay,
a
so they
lot
think
of
you
people
mixed?
think
I
I'm
think you're Hispanic. Okay.
yeah, because like I remember this like one time I was at school, like this actually was like a few weeks ago, but like this guy like I didn't really know, like he asked me my name and like I gave him like I should like use one of like my friend's name or something, and her last name was like Ramirez, and then like on the like the first thing he said was like, oh, I knew you were Mexican or something like that, and I was just like
yeah, like wow, like
yeah, that's interesting, but like yeah, a
well,
lot
I
of
never
people
knew that. Okay.
yeah, but like yeah, I do feel comfortable like around like both races. Like I mean, of course, like be times that like I'll feel like more of one than like another, but like like it's not like I don't know. Like like the biggest struggle about being mixed is like my hair. That's like the biggest struggle is like
I
the
knew you
care of
was
my
gonna
hair.
say something like
Yeah.
typical teenage girl talking about the hair. Like,
Maybe
yeah.
it's hard.
Now, okay, yep. So that's what I'm saying. So you comfortable in who you are. So you know what I'm saying. Like I said, this lady like she's saying like being born white, like she like resented. You know what I'm saying. Like me, I'm comfortable. I never want to be. I never want to be nothing else. But a black person. You know what I'm saying. So like when you hear stories like that, it always shocked me. I'm like. I guess
yeah,
like I
why
don't get
you
it
feel
because
comfortable like
yeah like
but like I
being,
just found something and it says
Go ahead.
Rachel Dolezal says that she identifies as trans black. Like how people are like transgender, like she's like trans black. So she thinks like she converted from white to black.
Yeah, you know what? And she kind of, I think maybe within the last year came up with that term too. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so she wholeheartedly, you know what I'm saying, resides.
She does. I believe that she's black. Yeah.
But at the same time, what's the difference between her and this young teenage girl, Treasure? She not degrading her European race though. She just
Yeah.
acting, posing like she's a black woman, but she's not
No,
being
she's not making
derogatory
fun
toward
of them.
her.
Yeah.
You know, but now let's jump to the 16-year-old, excuse me, black teenager Treasure. Now that's the thing too, like that's the thing that with you being both races, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, you comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Well, you got a lot of friends that's Asian and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So I know,
Like most of my friends last year were either Hispanic or Asian. Like the school that I go to now, there's not really like many like Asian or like Arabic people. I mean, like there's a few Asian people that go to my school now, but like my past school has been more like diverse, and like I've had friends of like all races before.
right.
Well, like
So
basically all
So
races.
that's what I'm saying. So you know you not one to be shunning or talking like a negative connotation like that girl about different, you know, like
Yeah.
just hearing her say that was crazy.
She's
But
basically being a hypocrite,
yeah,
but like
you know what I'm
without
saying?
thinking that she's like. I wonder how like she views her family since her family is black. Like, does she like treat them differently? And like yesterday when I didn't like pay attention to what you said, I thought you were talking about like that one girl, like Vicky, the white girl that thinks that she's black
Oh
too. No, because like, but she's much different. Like she'll like post videos of her getting like
that's
her
different,
hair
dude.
done
She
and,
just
like,
she just be acting like that. She not trying to say she's trapped in a black lady and a white body. You know, she just be acting. But
no,
this
yeah,
girl,
she
oh, she
but
do?
like yeah, she be saying that
bad.
she's like a black girl. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard her talk before?
Yeah, I think I might have seen it maybe a couple times. Yeah.
But yeah,
So that's pretty deep. Like I said, I just hate like the division. But this is another thing. This is another twist talking about the 16-year-old Treasure girl, right? Now this is the thing. Now when that's talking about the different opinions about the different races, right, or the different stereotypes, right, or how they feel. This is another spin on it. You know what I'm saying? That I see too is they put it on TV for a reason, for it to be an uproar, for people to talk about it, and for division. So why would you, as a parent in your right mind, put your daughter on TV and expose her to that, knowing?
I try to get that taken care of. Like I get that, like for the past like her whole life she's been trying to take care of it, but like why would she expose it even more? Like I feel like she could have done like a private type session with like Dr. Phil, but like I feel like she and like her mom and like her family kind of wanted fame, even though it wasn't like the best way to get it, and like Dr. Phil would like get more recognition still.
So the reason, with all what you're saying, right? The reason I'm saying that is, with all of us talking about these real issues that people of both cultures deal with, what I'm saying is this was put on TV for it to be talking points, you know what I'm saying, and to talk about on social media, right? So what I'm saying that this was staged.
Yeah. Like
you see what I'm saying? No.
Like,
what I'm saying is, even though we talk about real issues with this woman, Rachel Dolezal, and this Treasure girl, what I'm saying is that's a whole stage segment of Dr. Phil's show.
Yeah, like I'm really.
You see what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying is, why what you just said prior to me saying this, why wouldn't you got her help from a real psychologist, like at your local, from the local area where you live at, and putting her on TV? You see what I'm saying? Because they ain't gonna do nothing but
the main thing that they're saying that they're worried about, they're basically being like a hypocrite just like her. They're saying that they're worried that that she's gonna say something to the wrong person, but they're basically broadcasting it out to the whole
reverse
world.
Psychology,
and then
so that's fueling it.
Exactly.
So that's fueling it. So what I'm saying is,
it's not solving it, it's just making it even worse.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, go ahead.
And like it's just like people getting more mad about it. It's probably gonna make Treasure like you know more like say it more, I guess. I don't know.
Antagonize more. So what I'm saying is, in a nutshell, even though we're talking about the real views that's dealing with the different ethnicities or cultures, that was a stage show that they put on, and they actors. I don't even know if that was Treasure real mom. You see what I'm saying? They put that on just so this can be just so this can be talked about. Because like I said, you saying that you scared what she might say, but then don't you know that's gonna really put her in harm's way?
Yeah, exactly.
From people that she really around, that she feel like that.
They literally like gave the area that she's at. Like anybody that's really like offended by it could go and find her if they really want to.
With you being in junior high now, and I done been in school and stuff, you know certain kids look to be aggressive and want to start stuff. So why would you
Mhm.
plaster her on TV and have her talk all that way about her own culture to where she can be exposed? So what I'm saying is that was put on TV on purpose, and I'm saying that they was actors just to stir people up so it can be talked about. You know what I'm saying? Like on different shows, different social media shows, different radio shows. Like listen, that's gonna be talked about all this coming week. Matter of fact, I want to say it was on Dr. Phil Thursday because I listened to
Yeah,
the
it's
Breakfast
been
Club.
real recent, like
Okay.
as popular as it got, cause like I know what's her name, Danielle Bregoli, like now like Bad Baby, like cause she's like a rapper now and stuff. Like
Okay.
I feel like a lot of the people that are now coming onto Dr. Phil just like kind of like look for fame like she's getting right now.
It'd be scripted.
Mhm.
They already talked. Charlamagne already gave her Donkey of the Day Friday, so I think it was on Thursday because she already got the
Okay.
60-year-old girl already got Donkey of the Day. But ain't that wasn't? If I'm not correct me if I'm wrong because I don't watch it, but isn't that the show that girl was on? The girl that rap. What was her name? The Catch Me Outside girl.
Yeah, her
Yeah,
name's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Danielle Bregoli.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like her
So
real
yeah,
name.
that was staged
Yeah.
just to get people or have people going back and forth on social media, being negative toward each other, divide and conquer.
But it was kind of funny because like during one of the parts, like sorry to cut you off, but one of the parts she was Treasure was talking about, like she said that she has like a body like Kim K or something like that, and like it showed like a picture of her like next to her, and she's like stick skinny, and like it's it was just kind of funny.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's all staged. They act her, so she's being derogatory against her culture and race, but then she's promoting one of the biggest iconic uh, reality TV stars,
Right.
and she's promoting like getting cosmetic surgery.
That's
There.
what I'm
You see
saying.
what I'm saying?
Like
So it's staged. You know what I mean? Yeah.
exactly.
So my last talking point as far as the black and white division thing, and I'll let you round it up. But my last talking point is we're not black and white. We brown. Peach. What you said, peach.
Yeah,
colors
because
like
I
that.
learned that from like the colors of like crayons.
And also, we all the world's people are the colors of the rainbow. But guess what? When you look at a rainbow, what do you see? All the colors are stuck together. The rainbow is together. That's how it's a rainbow.
Yeah.
It's no separation. The rainbow is stuck together. So my last talking point on this division, black and white crap is we all need to be together. But anybody that follow me and see any of my previous stuff know I'm always talking about unity and collaboration. So we're all colors from all walks of life, and a rainbow is connected together, not separated. I'll end on that. You have anything else to say on that?
Not really. Like I just I don't know. It's just kind of like unfortunate that people like feel like they have to like change like their race of all things that they have to change. Like I get like people wanting to like maybe like change like for example like they want to change like their body like losing weight or like gaining weight or stuff like that.
Right.
Or like changing their hair, like stuff like that. But that's like a whole nother thing. Like your race is something that you should be like proud of, be like proud where you came from, and that's just kind of like I'd be kind of like embarrassed like if I like want to change like races or something.
But that's what I'm saying. So, but what I'm saying is you're proud, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. I
I'm
observe
not
you.
bothered by it.
That's what I'm saying. I observe you like you proud of your European side as well as your black side. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you well rounded. So I already knew, but I just want to hear, just get your honest opinion from you to see what you said, because like I said, that kind of touched me, being that she like I said, I know she's an actor, but with her being 4 years older than you, for her to come on and denounce her heritage, and like I said, I would have felt the same way if it would have been a European white teenage girl that would have been on there like I'm a black girl trapped in a white body, and I can't,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
people
Because
so
like
bad,
you need to be
like I'll make like jokes about like both races, like saying like things about like white people, saying things about like black people at the same time. It's only like it's not that racist. It's just like me joking, but in that term, like she was being serious.
yeah, but at the same time, you you half and half, so
it doesn't.
and that,
Really matter. It's just like joking.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like,
making jokes
but
on your
there's just
own
like
self.
yeah,
so,
and it's just like
yeah,
her
don't trip
basically
on
like
that.
being
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, don't trip on that. Yeah. All right. Yep. So we can get to your last topic. I got some stuff to go in on it with you.
Okay, so like my last topic is about natural disasters, and the definition of a natural disaster is a natural disaster is a major adverse event resulting from natural processes of the earth. Examples are floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis, and other geologic processes. And for example, there's been like a lot of like hurricanes and like floods in the last year. Like I said, like for example, those are some things. Um, so like for example, like one of like the biggest hurricanes in history was the Great Galveston Hurricane. The death toll was 8,000 to 12,000 people, and they don't really know, and they didn't really exactly know how to prevent it since it was in the year like 1900. It was like the first.
And what was it called?
The Great Galveston Hurricane.
Okay, the Great Galveston. Okay, yeah. So yeah. Okay.
Galveston.
Okay, yeah, but that's in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the strongest hurricane was Hurricane Wilma, and I didn't get a death count for that, but that was like the strongest one. And like another example of like natural disasters are floods, and a really big one that happened last year, like last summer, was the South Asian floods, and around 100 around 1,300 people died, and I found an article on it that said that the flood, like at the time, like at the article being posted, that it killed like 1,200 people and shut 1.8 million children out of school, and like there's a picture that goes along with it that it like comes up to like
and
above
where was
the
that
bus.
at? You said in Mumbai?
It was in like South Asia. It was in
Okay.
Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Pakistan, like that area.
Okay, and you said it killed over 2,000.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of times
And
no, go ahead.
well, like what I was gonna say is like most of the time, like these natural disasters aren't necessarily natural, because I got this idea from what we were talking about last week, or not last week, talking about like the Flint water crisis, and like not the Flint water crisis, or it kind of like was similar to it, talking about like how like all this stuff is like caused, like how like stuff is like caused to be like polluted, and like it's not necessarily natural, because actually something that happened like a few weeks ago in class, I was talking to my science teacher, and she was talking about like all like the hurricanes that were happening and stuff, and I was like, well, they're called natural disasters, but you're saying that they're like caused by people sometimes, like is what, like she was basically kind of sugarcoating it, but I got like what she was saying. Like she was basically saying that like we're the ones like causing it, but like basically they're not natural is what she was saying, but like not directly like saying, because like she knows she'd get like a lot of questions that she's not really exactly allowed to say that. But what I said was like, so you're saying that they're not natural, and that they're like caused by people, and that like basically we're like causing like all these other people, like we're basically killing our population. And she was like, well, yeah, some of them, and like cut me off kind of, and
she
just kind of like
off?
Yeah, she like basically ignored like my question, like exactly, like she didn't really answer it. I was basically just asking.
Peace, JFC.
Hi.
So she cut you off though?
Yeah, she cut me off when I was trying to say like trying to say that like they're basically like caused by us. And
yeah.
So I was kind of like supposed to bring this up like towards the end, but I was thinking about something. So next week we're probably gonna lead into like the flat Earth stuff, and something that happened like a few weeks ago, or like maybe like last month or something, was okay. So there's this girl that goes to my previous school, and she's in high school now. But like last year, like she's very smart. Like when she was in 8th grade, she was put into like a 10th grade class. She was like put into like higher math classes. She like had all A's, like she just like had like a really high GPA. She was like just really smart overall. and she posted something on her Instagram about like the Earth being flat, and like apparently like people like in the comments like not like all like from like SASA, like they're just like coming from like I don't know, they're just finding it and like saying stuff about it, and somebody came to the principal about it, like telling her that like that happened, and she
Ooh.
was told to delete the post. And
Off her
so
own social media.
yeah, and so like she was like telling me about it, and I felt really bad. And like let me say, like the new principal, because like she actually was the principal of like the school that I go to now, but like she's not anymore. But like the new principal is really strict, because one of my friends told me that you can get a 5-day suspension for calling somebody stupid.
Oh,
Like
wow.
that's what she's considering like profanity.
Wow.
I know, like she's really strict. So probably hearing that probably just really, like I don't know if she got like in trouble. Like I don't think she got any like detentions or anything, because
Yeah.
like the vice principal like knows her better, especially that she's like a dancer. She's more like well known, because like the
Okay,
dance
yeah,
students
then.
are more popular.
Gotcha.
So like I feel like that's like the only reason that she didn't get in trouble like that.
That's
So-
deep, dealing with the flat. Now next week,
And that's coming from, like, a
going to be
ninth
our
grader.
next week. Flat Earth is going to be the brunt of our topic next week, because we've
Yeah.
been talking about we're gonna go in on it, and yeah, we're gonna go in on it next week. So that was deep with what she got from a previous student from her school, like having to take her social media down about Flat Earth. That's deep. But I want to get back into your natural disaster, and I want to talk about something that my bro JFC talked about a lot of it being man-made with weather modification. So what I want to talk about, are you familiar with HARP?
No.
Okay, you're not familiar with HARP. Okay, yeah. So HARP is an acronym for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Once again, HARP is an acronym for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It was initiated as an ionospheric research program jointly funded by the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Navy, the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA. It was designed and built. It was designed and built uh, by Bay Advanced Technologies. Its original purpose was to analyze the ionosphere and investigate the potential for developing ionospheric enhancement technology for communication and surveillance. As a university-owned facility, HARP is a high-power, high-frequency transmitter used for study of the ionosphere. Now, that's what the initial, I'm gonna say, narrative that they put out, to the public as to what this HARP program was for. But with the offbeat media, the underground media, and the underground reporters started doing some digging, HARP was really put in effect for what my HOTC bro JFC was saying, for weather modification, which is altering the weather through man-made devices. That's what this HARP program really have been doing over the last few years, like causing some of the different weather patterns with some of these say tornadoes, or say storms that we get, like storms, or say some of the mild tornadoes. They're causing the patterns and the trajectory and the pattern of the way that they're going. So that's why a lot of times when you see the news, let's say today Sunday, let's say tomorrow we start seeing on the news, the national news, like yo, the Florida Keys and the Carolinas, you know what I'm saying, the next 10 days they need to start bunkering down. They're going to get like this bad storm, is suspected to do this. Now look, the news is already showing, or the weatherman with their meteorologists and their Doppler stuff, they're already showing the whole route of what this tornado gonna do. Like, yeah, or this I said tornado, or what's the other thing? The other thing that come on, tornado or hurricane. Yeah, they show the direct pass and stuff, right? So look, it's the same thing as different false flags and stuff, all kind together. It's predictive programming. So say tomorrow we'll start seeing, man, in like 8 to 10 days, it's gonna be this bad. It's gonna be this bad storm or hurricane going. They're gonna show where it's supposed to go. So what happened? That don't do nothing but turn these companies up to their money going up because everybody's in the uproar. They're going out to Walmart, Target, Sam Club, stuff like that, Smart and Final, stuff like that to get all this bulk stuff, the gas stations. Now think of, you got all these supposed to be these natural disasters, but everybody going to fuel up on gas. A lot of times get out of town and go to other places. So all these different economies are getting spiked, you know what I'm saying, with money because of the scare tactic with these man-made, supposedly natural disasters. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, the one you spoke of earlier, the what was it, in Mumbai and Nepal. Now,
Oh yeah.
and listen, that flood, and even here in the state, it do be some real natural disaster thing sometimes, but a lot of time with these hurricanes and all that, it do be man-made. Now that one in Mumbai, that's probably was due to poor structure and stuff over there, but I'm saying a lot of the ones over here, we know for sure be man-made, and it's a scare tactic, and it's a money grab for you to go out and buy and purchase certain things.
Like for example, like a really good example actually is that I have two friends that like live where what hurricane was it? Hurricane Harvey? Was that the one that recently happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one that lives in Virginia and I have one that recently moved to North Carolina like while the hurricane was basically going on,
Sure.
and they both said that they barely got hit. And I almost said her name. Like the one that lives in Virginia, she said like she went back to school and like all like the staff was basically mad because school was canceled for like almost 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks. It was like a week at least. Like that she had to stay home from school because of the hurricane. And like now like she's kind of mad about it because like they made school like half an hour longer so that they could get more stuff in. Yeah, and they basically just did that for nothing. Like all they got was rain. And then the one that came after that, which I'm not sure what was the name of, she said that she got more from that, but that one was like smaller and wasn't even. I don't even remember the name of it, but like
now in real time,
like she got more from it, but it wasn't as broadcast.
Right. Now, what you talking about, the Harvey one that was on the South Coast, North Carolina and stuff. In real time, Nikki, my HOTC sister, she had family, back that way. So we knew about the real severity of what was going on with the storm versus what they're saying on the news, as well as my HOTC brother, Knowledge Uprising. He from Charlotte. Mm-hmm. So Knowledge Uprising was in real time posting videos like when the storm was going on. So what they was showing us on the national, he was showing like they was getting rain here, but he was like, no, we pretty much intact family. He was saying, we just hoping that the power don't go out. He was like, because just the next few days we're going to get accumulation of more rain, but the winds and all that isn't as catastrophic as they're saying. We really haven't had no power outages. Nobody's house has been hit by down wires or trees and stuff. So like I said, they made it way worse than what it was. And a lot of people was leaving, was leaving and stuff like that.
I feel like the last like really, really big one, I actually don't remember the name of it. Was it Hurricane Irma? That was so big. I don't remember, but like a YouTuber, I don't watch him anymore, but like Jake Paul, he actually like went down there to like help with it and stuff, and like he was showing like real stuff like happening, like real people getting saved. But I feel like most of the time, like for example, I know like Hurricane Katrina, that was a really bad one. Like there was a lot happening,
and like I'm gonna talk about that one.
I feel like most of the time they'll pick the worst of the worst like areas that are really, really getting hit. Like and like out of all the other places that they get, like they mostly show this area. Like I remember I had looked up like. I don't remember what hurricane it was. I think it was Irma, and I thought it was in this like one place, but it said that it was in all these other places. But I only heard about this one place getting hit, and this one place was the only place on the news that they were showing. So I feel like they like also like a part of it, like it is actually happening, but they're actually like choosing the more place.
Now, what you bringing up? I'm glad you brought because I was gonna bring up Katrina. Now, Katrina was a man-made natural disaster.
That one was like
Now check it out. Like I said, I've always been deep into the news and all that. I be consumed with it. So when that was going on, back when I was blind to what was really going on, I was going with the regular narrative on the news, right? But listen, in real time, like say a few hours after it happened, the next morning, there's interviewing certain locals in New Orleans, right? I kid you not, I never forget. This older black guy was like, yeah, they rushed us to the bridge. He was like, but the water wasn't really that bad. Like what we said about our people from North Carolina stuff, we really didn't get hit that bad. He was like, but overnight and this morning we was hearing some explosion. It was sounding like explosion. So what they did, they was making explosive that was opening up these dams and these barricades of this water to check it out to openly flow in the impoverished poor sides of town. Right? Listen. So that the Katrina one was a man-made, right? Listen, so I'm gonna tie it together.
That was always like one that like even like out of all of them being like man-made, I thought that was one that was like really.
No, listen, I'm telling
that
you why
one
it
was
did.
like the worst one that I heard about.
Yeah, now listen, I'm showing you why it was man-made. It was man-made for the simple fact it uprooted those people out of their neighborhoods, out of their community, and even more so out of their state. Most of those people had to move to like Texas, to like Tennessee and stuff, right? So what I'm saying is it was man-made. They did them explosives to open up those dams and all that to flood it out, right? And that was for a thing called gentrification. If you never heard of gentrification is when they like property in the bad area is bought up or a lot of stuff is torn out to where they force people to move out and then they come in and rebuild it back up and it's brand new but it's too high a cost of living for the people who was living there prior to that to move back. So that's what happened with the Katrina thing. Once that was flooded like that, these people got uprooted. They was moved to Texas, Tennessee, to Georgia, and minimal amount of people moved back. So now you fast forward to years later, a lot of stuff has been revitalized, but it's upscale. You see what I'm saying? It's been it's cosmetically been, you know what I'm saying, redid, you know, like the landscape and all that. So the people that was uprooted, that was living there prior to that, can't even move back and afford it. So that was a man-made one. And you didn't know this, but the way for it to flood, then I'll let you jump in. You can look this up. New Orleans is designed. It's in like a bowl. It's like dipped there, right? So when they flooded, that's what caused it to flood. So if you didn't know this, all of their cemeteries and stuff, the people are buried like above ground, like they be in these. I don't even know the proper word for it. Not the mausoleum. Some of them be mausoleum, but they're not buried underground and stuff. And it's because of the elevation levels and stuff. But go ahead, what you was going to say.
Like I get how they like cause the flooding and stuff.
Right.
But like, what about all like the rain that's coming in? Did they choose like a specific time that they know like rain's coming in too?
See, listen, we on point today. Hey, we on fire. Now I'm glad you said that
like,
because
I get the flooding.
Okay, say what you just said again because I was going to jump right into that.
Okay, I get like where the flooding is coming from, but I don't get where all the like precipitation is coming from.
Okay, check it out. Boom. This is where all the precipitation comes from to show you that it's man-made. Weather modification is the act of intentionally manipulating or altering the weather. The most common form of weather modification is cloud seeding, which increases rain or snow, usually for the purpose of increasing the local water supply. So once again, with the cloud seeding, they was increasing that local water supply circulating over New Orleans. See what I'm saying? So let me finish reading it. Weather modification can also have the goal of preventing damaging weather such as hail or hurricanes from occurring or provoking damaging weather against the enemy as a tactic of military or economic warfare like Operation Popeye, where clouds were seeded to prolong the monsoon in Vietnam. Weather modification and warfare has been banned by the United Nations. Now listen, prior to me reading that, I just told you that the thing was man-made in New Orleans, right? Did you hear what they just said? I'm going to read that last part. It says weather modification can also have the goal of preventing damaging weather such as hail or hurricanes, which, i.e., happen in New Orleans, from occurring or provoking damaging weather against enemy as a tactic of military or economic warfare. So the hurricane, the Katrina hurricane, was an economic warfare tactic. See what I'm saying? And that ties into what I just said about gentrification. So that was man-made. Now to even go deeper, it said a lot of it is due through cloud seeding. Now let's check into what cloud seeding is. Okay, we looking at some visuals on Cloud Seeding Family, but I'm about to read it. I'm about to read it.
To get it in there.
Yeah. So cloud seeding is a type of weather modification that aims to change the amount or type of precipitation that falls from clouds by dispersing substances into the air that serve as cloud condensation or ice nuclei, which alter the microphysical process within the cloud. The usual intent is to increase precipitation, rain or snow, but hail and fog suppression are also widely practiced in airports where harsh weather conditions are experienced. Cloud seeding also occurs due to ice nucleators in nature, most of which are bacterial in origin. So you see what I'm saying? So now with you, prior to knowing this knowledge, you was assuming that the Katrina was man-made, but now with all what I just read, now you're saying it's man-made and how they doing it. So look, like boom.
Like I couldn't figure out like how cloud seeding happened. Like I could actually like, I mean I probably won't because like Miss Linlin will yell at me. I meant like my science teacher, but like I could bring up like that because we're actually like learning about.
Okay, no, listen. What I'm gonna tell you, listen. You know, you get the post for him, right? So listen, bring it up a little bit, right? But if you feel, you know, that she feel you putting her on blast, then you can pull up from it, like dumb your question down, but
yeah,
but you know, kind of bring it up. But if you feel, you know, like her vibe, like girl, like I know you not, don't go there. You know what I'm saying? Like just pull it back.
Because
on
like,
it, you know what I'm saying?
like we're actually like reviewing like about like the cloud cycle right now and stuff. And I've asked certain questions like that before where like she doesn't exactly know how to answer it because like she knows I'm smart. She'll like call me smart and stuff because like she knows also like that I came from SASA too,
right.
And stuff like that. So like I'll ask certain questions sometimes where she'll just kind of like give me like a certain look, and I'll just kind of be like.
Okay, well that's what I'm saying. So
that's
if you get a feel
that's
for
something
her
that Miss
cue,
Behe would do last year too, like my other science teacher.
But no, I'm saying if you get a feel for if she got that certain look to her, like girl, you don't go there, just pull it back. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, don't dumb yourself down. Just pull it back if you feel that. But at the same time too, you know, don't look at other students like they clueless, yeah, because once again, like I always reiterate, while my social media name is Knowledge for Ignorance, I got knowledge of certain things. I got way more ignorance to things around this world than the knowledge I know. So that's why I love learning every day. So like I said, yeah, keep that in mind. Always be humble to that fact. You know what I'm saying?
Like you always say something like there could always be like something that you know that like somebody else doesn't know, but that person could know like way more about this certain thing that you have like no clue about.
Exactly.
Which is something
so that's
that
why
like
we gotta
I
stay
learned.
humble.
Mm-hmm.
So and this is the thing still tying in with the weather modification that you're gonna know now going forward dealing with us here in this Midwest and the East Coast. Okay, it also can increase, you know, the accumulation of snow and stuff. So a lot of times when we have these real bad storms, those bad snowstorms be man-made too, and it'd be the same thing to where they have us go get all these supplies. We go buy all this sawed out, you know, saying stuff like that. and sometimes, and then we go buy all this food, you know, and all this. And sometimes it don't be that bad, but when it is severely bad, a lot of times it be man-made because of them, you know, messing with the nuclei.
I
and the
didn't
ice
even
and stuff
I
that,
just
so.
found out what cloud seeding was today. I've never heard of that before. Like I got like breaking the dams and stuff, but I did not like know. Like, I'll look more into that.
Right, now check this out. Now with the cloud seeding, right now, would you find it out today?
I'm sure Michigan doesn't
No,
that
now my bro JFC, he from Cali right now. You would think us, we know this, right? Me and the HOTC family, right? You would logically think like if it's droughts, you know, like in California, Arizona, Texas, and stuff. Why wouldn't they do the
cloud seeding.
cloud
like
seeding?
They use it for the wrong reason.
Yeah. Like why would they be generating that over those states to help them with the lack of water resources? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's something that you can see in plain sight that's hypocritical dealing with the cloud seeding. Like they tend to use it in places that already get a lot of precipitation and that really don't need it. You see what I'm saying? But don't want to even use these methods that they have in place in places
they
that's
could be
lacking.
solving a lot of problems with it.
They can be solving
They
lot
can
of
solve stuff
problems with
over
it.
in like Africa too, because I was talking about like the water crisis that they have too. Like, is it not water crises like aren't necessarily like all of the time like floods? Like they're also like droughts and stuff. So
Right.
like, yeah, they could use it for like California, like places and like Africa, other places in the United States. There's many other ways that they could help.
Yeah, that's definitely for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one thing that I did find, um, I found something yesterday that I just was gonna go over right quick. It was called like some of the top 10 natural and man-made disasters, like I guess of all time so far. And let me see. One of them was number one was London's killer fog. And it says with the advent of industry, London's population was accustomed to seeing foggy pollution laden air. In 1952, however, this pollution took a tragic turn. This winter, the weather was cold and residents burned more coal in their fireplaces to elevate the chill. The smoke laced with the sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and soot that happened in London in 1952. Yep, it was called the London's Killer Fog in 1952 and killed over 12,000 people. Due to the
or 12,000?
No, 12,000. 12,000
wow.
people. Due to the encased of the black cloud. Let me see. Number two was the Al Mizrik fire. Number two, the Al Mizrik fire. Another of the 10 worst man-made disasters of all time was the Al Mizrik fire on June 24th, 2003. This fire at an Iraq sulfur plant burned for about a month. Woo!
A month?
Burned for about a month, releasing sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. Sulfur dioxide can kill people by causing respiratory problems and also creates acid rain which destroys crops. So
another.
So yeah, that just destroyed them in two different ways there.
Like another natural disaster, well, like that I thought's also like I know this one's man made. Like I feel like a lot of people know this one is man made. Like forest fires, like the wildfires, like being spread around. Like, those definitely are very.
And that happened a lot on the West Coast and stuff too.
Yeah. Like I hear a lot about.
Number three on the list was the nuclear power plant explosion in Chernobyl, Russia. On April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl plant in the Ukraine Soviet Socialist Republic had a major meltdown which resulted in the atmospheric release of radioactive material 400 times more radioactive than Hiroshima was. I repeat, 400 times more radioactive than Hiroshima was. Um, Number four was the Kuwait oil fire, and that one was during the Kuwait and Gulf War. The Gulf War oil spill is the largest oil spill in history, making it one of the 10 worst man-made disasters of all time. In 1991, I was in the ninth grade. Following the invasion of the Kuwait, Saddam Hussein sent men in to blow up the Kuwait oil wells. They managed to set off over 600 ablaze, and these burned for over 7 months. Dang, 7 months. The oil spill that resulted from the fires caused considerable environmental damage. Number five on the list was the destruction of the Aral Sea. The Aral Sea was one of the four largest lakes at one point in time. However, in the 1960s, the Soviet Union diverted the waters from the rivers that fed the lake to irrigation projects. The sea has shrunk by 90%, and the salt and sandstorms that the devastation created kill plant life and have negative consequences for hundreds of miles. Number 6 was the Exxon Valdez oil spill. On March 24, 1989, the American oil tanker, the Exxon Valdez, collided with the Bly Reef. This created an oil spill with far-reaching consequences in the Prince William Sound in Alaska. Over 11 million gallons of oil spilled over nearly 500 miles, polluting the coastline. Once again, over 11 million gallons of oil spilled over nearly 500 miles, polluting the coastline. That's crazy. Over a quarter million birds were killed. Once again, over a quarter million birds were killed and countless other wildlife. Over 11,000 people aided in the cleanup process. Number 7 on the top 10 list, dioxin pollution. Look, we just talked about dioxin pollution in Midland when we was talking about the water crisis.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the dioxin pollution on July 7, 1976 in Meta, Italy.
You said July 7th. It says 10th.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed up. Number 7 on the list. My bad. Number 7 on the natural disaster list was the dioxin pollution, and that was on July 10th, 1976. Meta, Italy. A reactor in the chemical company exploded. This led to a toxic cloud of dioxin being released into the atmosphere. Dioxin is one of the most toxic chemicals known to man. While no one died as a direct result of the accident, many children were affected by the serious skin diseases from the accident. So once again, just like the Flint water crisis, a lot of kids is getting sick from the elements with that dioxin pollution in 76 in Italy. Number 8 on the list, the Love Canal. In the 1940s, a strange smell enveloped the area around the Love Canal near Niagara Falls. Residents also began to notice an odd seepage leaking into their yards, and people began to fall ill. In addition, many women began to have miscarriages and give birth to babies with birth defects. Upon inspection, it was discovered that there was over 21,000 tons. Once again, it was discovered that there were over 21,000 tons of toxic industrial water buried below the surface of the town by the local company. So once again, that's just like the Flint thing with the water supply, with the birth defects and stuff, and then just like with the dioxin in the water supply in the Midland area, dealing with our Tri-Cities being Saginaw, Midland, and Bay City, and then Midland having both chemical plants, Dow Corning and Dow Chemical. Wow, that's deep. Number 9 on the list was the Union Carbide gas leak. On the night of December 2nd, 1984, in the Union Carbide pesticide plant in Bhopal, India. Once again, that was in Bhopal, India, in 1984, December 2nd. India began to leak methyl. I'm going to make sure I pronounce this right. Isocyanate, methyl isocyanate gas, and other poisonous toxins into the atmosphere. Over 500,000, once again, over 500,000 were exposed, and there were up to 15,000 deaths at that time. Over 500,000 people were exposed, and over 15,000 deaths. In addition, more than 20,000 people have died since the accident from gas-related diseases, and that was in December of 1984. The gas leak in Bhopal, India. It exposed over 500,000. Exposed over 500,000. It was 15,000 deaths around that time, and since then it's been over 20,000 deaths that's been caused from that 1984 gas leak. And last but not least on the list, top 10 list, the 3 Mile Island nuclear explosion. in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on March 28, 1979. The 3 Mile Island nuclear reactor experienced a particle core meltdown. While little radiation was released from the accident, thanks to the working contaminant system, this accident became the rallying call for fears about the nuclear power industry. Livestock deaths, premature deaths, and birth defects have been attributed to the nuclear meltdown. Man can have a devastating effect on the environment, and the 10 worst man-made disasters of all time have had a negative effect on the environment for decades afterwards. Frequently, these disasters are related to poor industrial oversights within developing countries. However, even with regulations, a catastrophe can happen. So yeah, I know that might have been long-winded, but I just want to go over the top 10 man-made disasters worldwide as of today that's been caused worldwide and that's had effect on the people of the world as well as deaths. And that's kind of heartbreaking to hear all these different man-made events when all 10 of them could have been prevented. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like I said, it has been a lot of real natural disasters that has happened over the course of time, and I don't want to just spew out fake fake stats and stuff like that, but it's certain earthquakes that probably was that happened that was real worldwide. We have certain volcanic eruptions, and dealing with a lot of research with my HOTC family, we've came to find out as recent of this past summer that some of the volcanic eruptions have been man-made. So you know what I'm saying. So it's just in this day and age, it's kind of tough to really decipher what's a real disaster naturally or a man-made disaster until we really have time to really weigh out the pros and cons or the research or the research that they came out or the investigative research that they came out due to these events to really say yeah or nay on it was really a natural disaster or it was a man-made. But with a lot of these things, initially, we do know that it's being man-made, due to the narrative that they're saying or say like the predictive programming that they're saying weeks prior to the actual event happening. So yeah, I just want to read those top 10. And did you have anything else that you want to kind of comment on or say about disaster, whether it be natural or man-made?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
go
I
ahead.
did learn a lot from this part because like I knew that a lot of these natural disasters were man-made, but I was taught that like a lot more than I thought were like that I thought were natural disasters were man-made because um yeah, I thought there was like a chance that like most of them were natural. Like I learned different like techniques and like ways, different like reasons and like different like ways they could do it and like yeah. So overall, like I learned a lot about it.
All right, cool. So I think we touched a few topics, and they was real
Yeah.
good topics, and like I said, more so my favorite one, me personally, was dealing with the division with our different cultures and race and stuff. And I want to kind of end with that on my behalf, saying like listen, we need to get to loving one another. Everybody, trying to be a humanitarian to the best of their ability. Helping one another. First and foremost, like I say, uh, you know, first law of nature is self-preservation. So you first and foremost want to take care of yourself. Be about yourself, your immediate family, extended family and friends, and branch out. But overall, you want to love everybody, be engaged with everybody. Because and this is what I'm saying. They brainwash us to be divided as far as black and white, stuff like that, right? But just think about this. How do you think the world runs with all these different companies worldwide if all these people behind closed doors aren't collaborating or doing deals? You see what I'm saying? Like how would an American Apple iPhone be sold worldwide if they wasn't, having a partnership with these other countries.
Yeah.
And furthermore, the Apple phones are being made in China. You see what I'm saying? So on the big scale, they sell us to be divided, but behind closed doors, all these people are friends and our
All
brotherhood
connected.
and sisterhood. So that's
We
all.
all
That's
came
all we
from the
trying to
same
promote.
place anyway.
All from the same place. So that's what we trying to promote. Like brotherhood, sisterhood, camaraderie,
The only
humanity.
reason that we're different places, that we're different races, is because we like travel to different like places, and like the melanin in our skin like
Thank you.
changes stuff from like the
See,
weather and stuff from different places.
thank you. Now you see what Cammie's saying is she don't even being on stuff like that. She said we all the same. We just start branching out. So
Hmm.
so that's a little inside thing to what my HOTC family know that magnetism and we come from the center. You know what I'm saying? Everything
Yeah.
points north. So we started from the north and branched outward. You see what I'm saying? So even my baby girl know that, and she not even up on. That's just her natural intuitive knowing that we all started as one and we just branched out.
Yeah.
So we just want to kind of end on that and just say let's just have unity and everybody love each other. And like I say, over here on this side we promote unity and no diversity because we are an interracial blended family over
Yeah.
here. So we don't want to hear nothing negative, what I'm saying, dealing with no, what I'm saying, nothing dealing with uh white slash European for lack of better words, or black slash Afro American for lack of better words. So yeah, it's all love over here. And like I said, next week the main brunt of we probably gonna have a couple more topics, but the main brunt of what we talking about is flat Earth because that's still being shunned and stuff like that. So we want to really talk about that next week. So you
It
have
should
anything
be,
else?
yeah. And like for example, because you just said that like flat Earth is like shunned and stuff. Like it's something that shouldn't be because it's like a belief. It's not like exactly like a religion, but it's like something like that people like believe in and that they like follow. Like we don't make fun of
What you mean, the
like
globe
of
Earth?
like yeah, like I meant not globe Earth, like flat Earth people, like flat Earth believers are like made fun of and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's basically like making fun of someone for their religion, like religion, like what they believe in, like something like I don't know how to explain it. It's just like something that they believe in, like something that they follow and stuff. It's
right.
basically like being against somebody for like their religion or like their race or like their sexuality and stuff like that. It's just like
Exactly. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. So definitely next week our main topic is gonna be talking about flat Earth stuff and like I said just over the last year or so I've been like trying to implement Cammy into knowing about it. So like I said, she's starting to learn more about it. So like I said, like I didn't necessarily know how she swayed as far as the globe Earth or flat Earth, but I pretty much know more so know now where she stands. But we're gonna go in on it next week, and we're gonna do some research this week and find different stuff to bring up. What I'm saying to talk about for the globe Earthers that shun people that's flat Earth. And I guess one of the talking points probably be the difference between belief and knowing, because I'm not into believing, I'm into knowing. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'll probably be I guess my subtopic, the difference between knowing and believing. But yeah, so yeah, I think what you think. This was a pretty good show, right? Yeah, I had fun with this show. Like I said, we just want to emphasize universal
I
love
learned a
across
lot
this
this
planet.
episode.
You learn a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Dealing with the cloud seeding and
Uh-huh.
all that, and then the package bombing and
Yeah.
all that. Yeah. So yeah. Once again, family, we appreciate you guys that tuned in live and everybody that will be tuning in to the uploaded live stream of this. And like I said, we apologize like some highlights from it. So yeah. So that's it from this week's show, and we just want to say peace and love, and that's all I got. You got anything else? All right, yep. So on behalf of Bridging the Gap TV, this is Knowledge for Ignorance K4I signing out along with,
Your host is Cammy.
and we'll see the family next week.